Hello and welcome to the Record Club, brought to you by Record Store Day, the official charts and National Album Day, and proudly in association with Bowers Wilkins. My name is Jess Izzat. We are excited to say that we're back with our guest today, who is Maruja, chatting all about their debut studio album, Pain to Power. If you have hung out with us here before, you will know that we're going to be spending about the next half an hour or so talking to the band all about the new record. So we'll be putting forward some of your questions about the album for them to answer. If you want to get involved, make sure to drop us a question in the comment section below. I'll be asking a selection of them in the second half of our chat. And on top of that, one lucky person who sends in a question today will be randomly selected to win a pair of Bowers Wilkins PX7 Season 2 over-ear noise cancelling headphones. They're fab and the album sounds incredible. So obviously get your questions to us. And I would also like to say that I did get my record in the post today. Thanks, guys. Make sure to get one from your local record store, physical copy. Once the chat with the band is over. But first, let's get straight into this week's Record Club and say a big hello. We have Joe, Matt, and Jacob from Maruja. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Everyone.
Hey.
It feels like you found like golden hour by the window, and it may slightly be blinding you, but it also looks very aesthetic.
It'd be a shame to waste it, Jelly. We're from Manchester, so
Yeah, I can't see a thing of
Whereabouts are you?
we're in Nottingham.
Yeah, in the upstairs apartment of Rough Trades. Super nice building. We were going to do a show here tonight, but unfortunately our lead singer's fallen really ill, and because we're going to the States real soon, it's best to not overload ourselves, especially on him as well. So but we're still chilling here for some nice signings.
Well, definitely sending lots of love and rest to Harry. Hope he gets well soon. Got to look after yourselves, guys. So kind of on topic, each week on the Record Club, we like to kick things off from one of the many amazing, with a question from one of the many amazing independent record stores in the UK. And this week it's from Crash Records in Leeds. And they say, having had the pleasure of hosting you guys twice this week, you're a great bunch of people to work with, by the way. It's been ace to see your fans' reactions to the album and indeed your live shows. You've certainly worked hard to get here. What does it feel like to finally have the album out in the world and see firsthand these reactions from the fans?
Wow, it's nice that we had a really great week. The guys from Crash are also really lovely. Shout out to Scott, who was looking after us. It's been beautiful playing the songs for the first time. We've been playing them, like Scott was saying, this week. This is the third time we've ever played Born to Die, which is a song we've been sort of like silently obsessed with ourselves for a long time. We had the sort of foundation of it like 2 years ago we were doing it. So we've always been dying to have that song finally written and then constructed and be out there. And also just like that energy being given towards the fans for the first time is something that we've been craving, and it's just been delightful to be able to do it in such like beautiful, intimate spaces with great independent record companies, like you said.
Oh, amazing. And then also, like the fans being able to, I don't know, see you up close and personal, like for the first time with these new songs. What's it been like speaking to them? Have you been speaking to them? Have you been doing signings?
They've not been full-on signings. Tonight is going to be a full-on signing session. So I think the last few shows we've played, they're not technically not in stores. They feel like actual small shows in venues that we've done. But we've managed to certainly meet a few of the fans and do some signings anyway after these shows. And of course, it's just incredible to see a plethora of familiar faces, but also brand new faces that have they've been mind blown by the record and they wanted to see us in person. And that's what we want. We want our fans to be able to see us in person, because the magic of our music is really in the live shows, and we try our best to replicate that on record, and we smash that. But to be able to hear just how inspired people, like new fans, are by a project that we gave it our all, in during quite a crazy time. So it's just an absolute pleasure, like Jacob was saying, to play these songs to fans and also to meet them afterwards and have a nice chat with them for a bit.
Obviously, big ups to everyone at Crash Records in Leeds. Thank you so much for your question. Okay, so to dive into it, firstly, I have to say huge congratulations, the official debut album. Make sure I've got it the right way round. Yeah, congratulations. Let's talk about it. Pain to Power, what does that mean to you?
There's a lot of, I mean, like when we're not speaking about music or messing about, we do have like we have a lot of conversations about like the state of the world and like how it is for young people that we know and young artists and that kind of thing. So we are kind of, as everyone is now, like hyper aware of the state of the world and the state of the country and everything like that. So it's been a pretty awful time in a lot of ways. And we like to kind of shine a light on what is happening in culture as it's happening and bring attention to what needs to be being spoken about. So like, and then we're also very inspired by the message of people like I was watching a documentary called 1971, the year that music changed the world. And that it goes into depth about like Marvin Gaye and Nina Simone and all of these greats that speak about really poignant topics that are using their message, and it's creating a huge like global impact and it's changing policies and stuff. So having a message that is as inspiring as like turn what is oppressing you into something that is like into something you can use to fight back kind of thing is a really important thing for ourselves and our personal lives when we've been through, you know, everything that we've been through. And then when we're kind of looking to a wider circle and other human beings, like it's kind of the only message you can give to people when times are so difficult. Like I can't remember exactly what it was, but we went to a Palestine tent in Glastonbury, and they were speaking about this this poem that they always say, and it's like even during the worst possible times for their community, the poem is all about gratitude and all about being thankful. And it's like if those people can be positive and turn the most awful thing imaginable into something positive, then everyone's got the kind of everyone can, you know. So that's sort of that's a bit of the background on the message, really.
You know what? After a first listen, I wrote like a little note. I was like, the style of the whole album sort of feels freeing, yet at the same time quite fraught and like frenetic, yet kind of like, I don't know, open. Not really a question, but just sort of, I guess now you even explaining that it has that like that sort of duality. How do you go about capturing like that sort of energy on the record? Like what's it like in the studio with Maruja? And how do you approach something like that? Like what do you say? Do you speak to the engineers about that? Is there like a specific mindset, or is that just like your style and how you play? Yeah, talk to me about like the energy in the studio.
We've been blessed to be working with our engineer and producer Sam Jones for the last 4 projects. So we've built up a really strong connection between us and him. Not just in a sort of professional musical environment, like we're really connected and aligned philosophically about how we talk and go about creating art, and then also just as people. So that's really a special thing that we've managed to just evolve throughout the years. And I think that really helps play into the sort of the dynamic and feel of the Sonics. Like you said, there's the sort of mad openness to it, and then a sort of frenetic, it's tight and quite rigid in certain places. And the way that we wanted to approach it with Sam, I mean, there's a myriad of ways why it was recorded the way it was. We didn't have an enormous amount of time, so we had to be writing the music as we were recording and mixing it all at the same time. So we built a space upstairs where it was just for tracking And then when we were done tracking and Sam was downstairs mixing, we could then use that same space for tracking to then have everything played out through our monitors, and we could then write and jam. And then it enabled us to do like two things at the same time. Sam do all the mixing whilst we were then able to write and stuff. So we're constantly working on tracks that have tracked yesterday mixing, and then tomorrow we'll be doing the recording of a new one. And to get that live feel that we have honed in on so much over the last few years playing all the shows we've done, we wanted to pay respect to that and just have it in this big huge space and record it almost like a jazz album where everything's mic'd up and you can have individual elements isolated, but ultimately there's a lot of spill and there's a lot of energy that is just captured by all the microphones in the room. So yeah, we can really easily pull between really quite vast and open sounding spaces, say at the end of Born to Die, and then again, like then the next track it might be really, really tight. We've got the ability to play with it.
Is there anything that you remember from like the recording? Because obviously that's quite like a machine that you've described there. Is there anything like that happened by accident, or something that we might not know on a first listen that we can like listen out for, or something that you're like, okay, that wasn't meant to go in there, but it is now, or maybe something a bit experimental?
It's tough. I'm thinking of, there's two moments. One of them is like an entire song was kind of an accident. Yeah. I'll speak about that one. Yeah. So we'd spent like nearly a week working on a song that actually didn't end up going on the album. Because I think because it was such a tight knit time that we had to get everything done to get 8 tracks, written for an album. We had to we came to realization that we had to be quite picky with what we chose to work on. And once this song didn't work out, we got up, there's an idea that we had on our phone, like an audio file, and it's literally 10 seconds or something like that. And it's one of Jacob doing crazy like military snare rolls and a crazy guitar loop. And that was the initial idea for Bloodsport, the very first track off the records. So after kind of being a bit disheartened by the song that didn't work out, we decided let's write a banger out of this loop. And within 2 hours, we'd just written the whole song, all of Bloodsport, and all of that, like especially the second half. All of it, to be fair, was accidental. We kind of jammed around it, but the very first jam that we did, everything just immediately clicked, and that was quite a mind-blowing moment of being like, this just spawned out of absolutely nowhere. So like, yeah, we fumbled our way into one of the most hellish bangers we've ever written. But yeah, that was definitely a memorable, mind-blowing, accidental moment.
That's funny. People can appreciate Bloodsport more now that that's kind of happened by accident. I have just been told I have one more question, and then we'll get to people who are getting involved, so keep your questions coming. I want to talk about the artwork, if someone hasn't already written that. I don't think they have. It's super like weird, dark, and probably right up my street when I was like studying art at one point in my life. Talk to me about when this came in, who the artist is, what the decision making was, because obviously all the each of the songs sort of have their own piece as well. Who did this?
The artwork's done by a guy called Mikey Thomas, who is weirdly like an old friend of ours in all different ways. Like Harry knew him from school. I used to play tennis with him, and then then we went to college together, and I was in like a college band with him. And then after college, I fell into the band, and he pursued art and like really went fully as ham as we did with music. He did in the kind of physical art sense. And he's just like, he's such a genius. It's actually like, I was speaking to my girlfriend about it, and she was like, he was just looking at him, looking around the room like, what are you seeing that I'm not, kind of thing. He's got like very intense stare, and like he's really looking into your soul when you're talking, and he wants the depth of like everything. So when we kind of started having discussions about what we might want for the album artwork, Harry bumps into Mikey a few times on the train and was like, "Oh, how's it going?" And we've always been a fan of his work as we've seen it develop through the kind of ages as he's been of ours. So it was just a really natural kind of connection. Him and his girlfriend Ella, also his girlfriend Ella designed like all the inserts for the vinyl, like all the illustrations and the angel pattern and all that kind of, all of those motifs.
A power couple in the art world.
Oh yeah. Paint a power couple.
Paint a power couple.
But yeah, they're both like deeply...
And she's done you. These are all you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is very cool.
She's sick, man. Yeah, very like entrenched in art history, and like they hear things from our music that we don't even hear sometimes. So they've really applied like the physical aspects to the music with like the amount of depth that we've got in the music with all the different genres and all the different energy and that kind of thing. In the paintings, like when we were first listening to the tracks with them, looking at the paintings were just changing. So like,
how long did he take to do this? Because this is crazy. And are they really big? I'm imagining they're quite big, or
kind of that size.
I think they're all like size. Yeah, I think it's actually that size. He works similarly to how we do in creating. It's like we write all the songs primarily through improvising, and he likes to see that the art is the actual sort of like process of him being in the space and in the room, and he just sort of lets the paint and the canvas dictate what's going on. So he's been doing sort of sketches like this for a while now, and I think he's just able to just bang out loads of similar sort of ideas to that. And I'm not sure how long it took, but I can't imagine it would have taken him very long. He just a few days maybe.
Whips it up.
Wasn't that
very cool? Well, whenever you guys do a combined exhibition together, send us the invite. It's very cool. Okay, we have some people getting stuck in. Tim on Instagram says, "I'm excited to see you guys live for the first time later this year. Do you prefer playing live or being in the studio?"
It's difficult. We're
so knackered that it's like prefer being on a beach. No, Jake.
Someone book them on a beach.
Yeah. We're a live band. Like we came up and from playing mental shows all the time, cut our teeth by playing like small, wild basements and venues around Manchester, and we try and write in the sort of mindset that we'll be doing stuff like in a live set, and improvising in itself is quite a live orientated thing. So it feels like our home is probably rested in that, but we do absolutely adore the sort of experimentation and the knowledge building you can get from just spending time sinking into ideas in the studio. It's a really satisfying way, but you do also get a little bit mental being in the studio. Like we were in the studio for like 7 weeks in a row earlier this year, and we did kind of lose the plot in the end. That's what does.
That's right. It's informed the music.
Yeah.
And Bloodsport.
Which one's the hardest of the new album to perform?
Oh.
I mean, there's 3 10-minute ones in there.
I was gonna say. No wonder you're so knackered.
I think we all try and like push our parts to the nth degree with every tune. So like they're all pretty knackering generally.
Yeah, I'd say personally for me, Sersha has become a difficult one because it's a lot of constant bass chords that never change. And yeah, I think fans have recently, they've seen me drop to my knees and like the thumb that's meant to anchor underneath the neck board just gives up. And then I'm just like hanging on for dear life just with my fingers. So yeah, that's not passion that fans are seeing. That's pain.
That's the pain. That's the pain part, everyone. We have Abigail on X who says, "Have you started to think about what comes next, album 2, or not just yet?"
Christmas album, isn't it?
Yeah, Christmas album next. Yeah. No.
Oh my God, please.
We'll see. Like it's been such a hectic time coming up, and I feel like in today's day and age, as an artist, you've got to just like accept the brutality of the early days and like how difficult it is to make money and doing everything in the most disgustingly grotty way possible just to like make it to the next step. But now now's the time where we're really going to reap the rewards of all the years of hard work we've put in, and then next year we're going to hopefully get some like bigger fees for shows, which is going to allow us to have more time to like make the art to the level and like with the amount of time that we need to really make it flourish to like the nth degree again. So we'll see. Not in any hurry. Do you know what I mean?
We've got lots of improvisations recorded on our phones that are locked away in a vault on a private SoundCloud. So and some of them are like ideas we've been constantly blown away by. So we'll have more time to work on them and craft them into just crazy beasts. Yeah.
And we also have Dylan on the Instagram. He's asking, they're asking, what do you hope listeners walk away with after they hear the album?
Power.
Yeah. It's definitely like
Less pain, more power.
Yeah, let's make more power. Power winter? No, maybe not. Like, I mean, we've been watching some reactions that people have been uploading to YouTube and stuff, and they've been hilarious. But like when we see at the live shows, like people getting emotional and having that sort of emotional release, whether that's crying or like thinking about something that you haven't processed in your own life or anything like that, like you can't really begin to think of the impact that has, and like allowing someone to feel stuff that they've been holding back and then it coming to the forefront through art is like something so magnificent and magical. Like if we can do that for anyone that is doing beyond what we were kind of beyond what we're putting all this work to do in. So
spot on.
Well, obviously, congratulations on the debut. I have one more question. I know you've spoken loads about it, but I've always known he's a boy and he loves his alternative sounds. Louis Tomlinson was a big help previously for you guys. Has he commented on the new album?
Yet to hear from him.
Yet to hear from him. Okay, maybe he's just sinking into it.
Really, he probably wants to sit with it for a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Probably affected him deeply, I think. He's probably locked in his room.
Yeah, he's probably listening on his nice headphones. Speaking of which, we have a winner for today's Bowers Wilkins wireless headphones prize. Can I get a drum roll? Yeah, it's the boys from Maruja. No, I'm joking. We have Tim from our Instagram. Please slide into the Record Club's DMs and we'll get those headphones to you. That is all we have time for today. So make sure to get yourself a physical copy of Pain to Power now that this episode is over. Pick one up from your local record store. My name's Jess Izzat. Thank you so much for joining us, sending in your questions. This and all previous episodes are available to watch back on Spotify or YouTube. But for now, thank you, Joe, Matt, Jacob from Maruja. Big love to Harry as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, lots of love. See you later.